Okay, we are live. Welcome to How to Build Your Own Home. Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We do live chat. We take questions from the Peanut Gallery, the internet, the faraway place, middle America. We take questions from all those different places. I have a lot of emails from students, and I'm trying to get those organized here. I just have a couple of them.
Just, you need to be in the center.
Oh, there we are. I need to be in the center.
So, yeah.
Okay. She's my director. She tells me everything. Okay. Let's start with a couple of questions here and get rolling. And then I have some good feedback and some other stuff that's on my mind. And depending on how many questions we have tonight, will determine how far we'll go into that. This one here is from Kevin. He makes a question here. I took your course a while back and printed all of the downloads for my binder. Very good thing to do. I was very nervous, but went ahead and started building. I have a great group of subcontractors, and it's been pretty smooth. There we are. Pretty smooth so far. Currently, I'm waiting for my pre-drywall inspection. Your course and YouTube videos have given me a ton of confidence and knowledge. Great, great, great. Strange question, though. Someone has approached me and asked if I'd manage a build on his lot with the same floor plan of mine. I've enjoyed my building so far and very proud, but doing it for someone else is a different story. I haven't given him any answer yet, but I would like some advice on how I should go about doing this. Okay, if you were to do that, you will not be doing it as a general contractor. You would be doing it as a construction manager. Okay, the two are not the same. A general contractor is a person who assumes all liability, all the paperwork. There's a contract in place. There's insurance. Everything's in place. You're taking on that contracting skill. Okay, as a construction manager or even a site supervisor, that's a 1099, 1090. Is that what it is? Just a simple employee situation. Or you're an independent contractor and you say, I manage construction jobs and I'm not a general contractor. So I would do it under that auspice and have a simple contract. Yeah, I will manage it. And here's my duties. Here's my responsibilities. I will not be paying bills. I will not be approving bids. I will just manage it. And then the owner would actually do all that behind the scenes. So I've seen a lot of owner builders do that. They actually pick up a skill. They learn how to do it well. They learn how to schedule and work with other subcontractors, and they can pick up a little money on the side. So yes, it's a good thing, but don't do it as a GC. Do it as a site supervisor and just a simple set up an LLC and say, I manage projects and I do it for a better price and at a better fee than general contractors. But you do all the money and invoicing and insurance and liability. You check all that stuff. Okay, good question.
You don't check the money part?
No, because
you don't do the money part.
You don't do the money part at all. You don't touch that because once you're now assuming liability as a GC. You just want to manage the job, and then you give the email of where those invoices should go, and you give them right to the owner. So it's a good question, and there's a wonderful opportunity out there for you if you're thinking about it. Okay, next question here. Keith, hello. Hope you are having. These are questions that they can't be here with live chat. And they'll come back and watch you later. And so we're going to do those first. And I promise I'd answer those first. So that way they don't have to watch the end of the video and finally get those questions answered. Hello, hope you are having a good week so far. I've been watching your Q&A on Thursdays for a while. You are the bomb. Thanks. I appreciate that. I mean, you got it going on with teaching us and giving us the right and structures on how to build a home. I'm about to take my test for a GC. Okay.
Oh, great.
And I already know it is a lot more that comes afterwards besides passing the test. Most people, mainly my own relatives, are doubting I can do my first new build myself. It's always family that doubts you the most. I'm confident I can. Tell them otherwise. I've done renovations for a while. I do have subs that someone was telling me there are A, B, and C subs. Do you know anything about that? Also, I am hiring all licensed skilled trades. Is it necessary for anyone else to be licensed and insured as long as I have my general liability, workman's comp insurance? Good questions. I'm going to answer both of them. Let me go with the first one. A, B, and C subs. I just call it first string, second string, and third string. Third string's super cheap. Second string is somewhat, it's really their cost ratio. I go after quality first. And quality would probably be my A string, my A team. And then second quality and third quality. It doesn't necessarily mean that one's more expensive over the other one. I've got an A team for frame, but they're also my most affordable, if you can make that sense. Then I have B teams that are more costly, but the quality is not as good. So it's really a weird thing out there in the trades. Some people, and I have realized this, they want to be in the trades for a long time, so they set their price so they can be in the trades for a long time and not gouge people. And you'll find that to be the case. So your A is pretty much your best price and also your best quality if you line it out just right. Okay. Next question, licensed skill trades.
Be licensed and insured.
There's that phrase on, I'm a painter, licensed, bonded, and insured. It used to say bonded, but they don't do that anymore. Unless you're doing work with the government, then you need to be bonded. It's a different story. I won't get into that. But yes, they need to be licensed and insured because that's the first line of defense. You're the second line of defense. You're not the first line of defense. So if something happens and you hire a subcontractor to do that job and something goes wrong, it's going to be against their liability, against their insurance, not against yours. And then if you're ever audited by your insurance company, I recently was, and guess what happened? I had to pay an $11,000 fee because they went back several years and they found 4 people I hired that didn't have a workers' comp. They had insurance, but they didn't have a workers' comp insurance. And as a result, they fined me that cost and I had to pay it. First time I've ever been audited as a general contractor in 20 plus years. It wasn't fun and I didn't like it. So that's why your paperwork behind the scenes needs to be as best it can. Before you hire somebody, make sure you get their certification, their license, whatever, business license, all that. And then you also get a copy of it's called proof of insurance, a POI, proof of insurance. You have that before you award them a contract or award them the opportunity to work on your home. It's harder to get that after the fact. I had a job a long time ago and I made sure I got the insurance from the company. And lo and behold, there was a leak in the pipe, and it was a finish nail that got shoot up in a weird way, hit the pipe, and luckily they were liable for it. And there's, I won't get into the code structures for it, but there should have been a metal plate behind there, but there wasn't a need for one because it was a 7-inch baseboard, and they shot that nail up and it went above that 7-inch. So as a result, they were liable for it. So they paid for it, several $1,000s to fix the flooring and all that kind of stuff. If I didn't have that insurance, it would have been very difficult to trace the source as to who was going to be accountable for that. So before you hire somebody, make sure you get their liability insurance. And it's just a single page for proof of insurance. Gives number, broker, gives the insurance company, and it's really quick and easy. Okay. Last question here. This is from Cora. Hello, Keith. My name is Cora. My partner, Mark, and I are both 24 years old and are renting an apartment. Our dream is to build our own home and homestead it, preferably anywhere south of Utah County on a bit of land. We are young and completely new to this whole process, but wanted to know what we can be doing now to get us started on this path. We have no money and saved and no money saved and no plans yet. So we want to make sure that once we start to go down the path, we are doing everything correctly and with guidance from a very beginning. Would love to hear your advice or thoughts as to the start and best path forward. Okay. My wife's going to chime on this too. The best thing is to don't buy a car for the next couple of years, because that's going to help you out immensely. Just live as debt-free as you possibly can, because you want to get a piece of land. Okay. That's going to be your first step. staying as debt free as you can. And then when you purchase your land, that's going to be equal to a car payment or thereabout. That's why you have to trade getting a car versus getting land. Which one do you think is going to produce more value?
Land always is better. A car always depreciates.
Yes.
Land has the possibility of increasing.
Land will increase and then the neat thing, you can't use a car as collateral for down payment on a home,
Yeah.
but you can with
Land.
land.
Mhm.
All right, what's that movie? Land. I can't remember that quote
I don't
from a movie. So the best starting spot is to acquire some land. That might take some time. You take up a little time to get 10, 15, 20% down on the land, then get a loan on the land and then pay that off in place of getting cars and vacations
And toys.
and toys. All right. You have
Out to eat even.
Even
like,
out
that
to eat.
can add up.
Yeah, it can add up. So given your situation, that's the best direction I can give you, is to really focus on a piece of land and make a lot of other sacrifices to make sure you get that land. And I've seen people get a piece of land paid off in 3-5 years. And once they pay it off, guess what? They're down. They also have some savings too. They've got the land paid for. They've had some extra cash, and that extra cash is used to buy designs or structural work, geotech work. And then when they get a loan, they've got all that gets as part of the loan. So they got more than 20% down. They have really good equity in the home. So that's the best direction I can give you. Okay.
Sorry.
Let's answer some questions here. So I'll let my
First
wife.
one.
Let's see.
Here.
Right there. Okay. Batman 34888. What's the most expensive thing when it comes to building a home? Land.
Yeah, land.
Land is that's why if you get that under your belt, then and it's paid for, that's a big chunk. After that, it'd probably be your foundation and excavation combined because they kind of work hand in hand. Right after that, it'd be framing and framing labor and your lumber package. That'd be probably, they're really almost neck and neck. Sometimes one's a lot more than the other, but for the most part, they're neck and neck. And if you can acquire enough to get enough for those two, plus a dry-in and maybe some windows, you got the whole shell saved and protected, and you can take a little more time on the build process. But those things are the most expensive. Okay, good question. Venom Bunny 94. What are the pros and cons of Pella, Milgard, Anderson windows? Thank you. I'll be kind of straight up here. Okay, all of those you can get in a box store, to be honest with you, but one of those has a terrible delivery. Absolutely terrible. It's the first one on the list.
Pella.
But here's the caveat. Pella has kind of your box store brand, and then they have their very, very high-end brand. The high-end brand comes with local service, local sales, and local support. When I built up the north, up in the mountains, Pella would come and test all the doors, and I could call their service tech. They'd come in and make fixes. They were wonderful. But that's for their high-end doors and windows and stuff like that. For their stuff that's really in box stores, it's a different beast. And box stores are cheap, but they're cheap for a reason, meaning that it takes a long time to get stuff there. And I bought Pella windows, and they delayed it almost a month, week after week. They delayed the delivery of windows for a long time. And quality, time, and cost, those are my factors. And when time gets in the way, it's not good. With that said, Anderson 100 series windows, those are great. You can get those at box stores, and you'll get them at a better price. And they don't have the delivery problem that other one has. And Milgard, I have not really had. I've actually built quite a few homes with Milgard, but I don't buy them at a box store. I actually have a supplier that actually gets me a little better price than a box store, if you can believe it, because I buy in such high bulk from Milgard, they can actually get a better price. So box stores are not always your best source. Your best source is that supply house, that distributor that just does a huge bulk amount all the time, and they can actually negotiate a better price. So shop around. if you can shop around, you're going to get the good price that you want. So I can't say that. Aka Willie, aka Willie, also known as Willie One. Okay, I'm building my home in Minnesota and want info on how to guarantee my pipes don't freeze in the winter while I'm in Arizona. I'm on the well in a holding tank. Okay, really good question. All right. I don't know what your foundation is. So the more specifics you can give me, the better. Is it a stem wall? Is it slab on grade, or is it a basement? All right. I'm doing some videos here coming up, and I'm going to show you how I'm building homes to withstand really sub-zero temperatures so nothing freezes. So stay tuned to that. I have 3 homes that I'll be doing videos on that. A lot of really interesting content coming up. But when it comes down to that, PEX is your better product by far because it has the capacity to expand and contract, Copper is something you don't want to be using, especially on an area that can really get frozen. So with that said, having a system that can drain is probably your most, the best thing you can do. So all homes I'm building in high altitude climates that can get really, really cold, I'm making it so the entire house and the landscape, everything can drain into one spot. So that's an elevation. If you don't have elevation to make that happen, then you got to deal with some other stuff. Making sure it's really deep. Your main line has to be at least 3 feet plus into the ground. Putting everything in a sleeve, PEX in a sleeve. That extra insulation is a real big plus. So those are the things that I would do. Make sure I can get it drained. And if it's not being used, there's no reason why you can't shut off the home. So watch the videos coming up, and I'll go over that, how you can do that. And one of them, I had to do it in the crawl space. It's not my ideal, but I'm thinking about how to create some lever systems so I can actually turn on the valve from upstairs without having to go down into the crawl space. I'm toying with that, and I haven't figured out mechanically how to do that, but I think I have a possible solution, but we'll see. We'll see how it comes out. So good question. MK Fit. Keith, could I build a property on my land to sell as a builder, not as GC? Yes, you can. However, some states mandate that you can't sell that within 2 years. So check with your state requirements with regard to that. Some of them longer, some of them are shorter. And the reason why they do that, like in California, you can be an owner builder and you can build a fourplex, and you can build 2 of those in a 2-year period of time, but you can't go beyond that, and you can't sell them until the 2 years is up because they want to make sure that it's got some quality and it doesn't have some problems. They don't want you to build it and sell it as is and have some serious problems. So check with your state. Your state will help you understand what you can do. Okay. Venom Bunny, our plans have wire mesh for a 2-car garage slab. Would you recommend rebar, or is wire mesh sufficient? I don't like wire mesh. It has too much of a give. It doesn't have a strong tensile strength. I like number 3 or even number 4 rebar on a 3-foot or 2-foot on center. And if it's a stem wall, I will tie that rebar into the stem wall. And by doing that, I get some reinforced structure with regard to that. But the real trick of the whole thing is the turn down when you first drive into a garage, that turn down, a real thick turn down, almost 10 to 12 inches thick, like a curb, in fact. And that way you're not going to crack and settle it. And then at least 5 inches thick on the slab. I wouldn't go 3.5 inches thick like a typical 2x4 situation. I'd go 5 inches thick. And then if you have 6 inches or more of road base compacted underneath there, you've got a solid surface. I've done garages. Excuse me. I've done a lot of garages. And to this day, because I do it that way, I don't have any cracks in my garages, other than in the control crack where I want it to crack. If you get that control crack done on time, 3/4 of an inch down within 24 hours after they pour it, you can actually control that crack to the point where you will not see any skewampus cracks in your concrete. in your garage. You can pour that effectively, but there's a lot of preparation and planning to make sure that's done right. Okay, good question. The MA Pearl, would you ask a sub for lien releases from their employees that work on your home? That's a really good question.
If you have the contract with the subcontractor, then it's only between them.
However, in the state of Utah, the number one person who has a lien rights above supply houses, above contractors, is common laborers. They don't know that. They never exercise it. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. But keep in mind, in some other states, they may have that same lien right hierarchy, that they put common laborers at the top, because they're the ones that get screwed the most, to be honest with you. So I would think you can ask for it, but it's a headache, and you may not need it. All you need is a lien release from them, and also to make sure that their supply houses are taken care of. I doubt any employee is going to come after and exercise lien rights. In most states, you have to file a lien. Not file a lien, but file the right to lien, which is a notice of commencement within 20 days before or 20 days after of when they start. And that's in my state, and a lot of states are kind of similar, but with different time frames. So it's not something I would worry about. I would just get a lien release from your subcontractor. Because if they have 12 people, that could be a headache. Mm-hmm. You're asking them to go get something signed by 12 employees. And you don't want to do that. You don't need to do that. But a really good question.
Yeah, really good.
Okay, Steve Boyer, Jay Boyer. At what point do changes to the home during construction is city reapproval required? Really, really good question. All right. When you change the footprint of the home, when you're moving the foundation in any way at all, or moving the structural integrity of the home in any way whatsoever. You could, for example, have a window, but you want it to be a bay window and you want to cantilever it out. That's not a problem. Stuff like that. But if it changes structurally at all, that's when you want to get them involved, because he might spot it. I had an inspector come in and take a look at a home and missed some serious things. 2 things in that they weren't done by the framer, and they're being done right now across the way. So sometimes they'll catch it, sometimes they won't. But they will look at the plans, a good inspector, but if they're really busy, they may not catch it. It's up to you. But anytime you change the footprint, eventually they're going to catch that. County will catch it because they'll see the footprint change, and then they're going to assess your taxes differently. So that's the biggest thing, is the footprint change. And a lot of cities use satellite imagery to assess the entire area under their jurisdiction every month. And they'll see new roofs, they'll see footprints, and they'll have computers and AI computers go and map what areas changed. And they'll see, I had a list. I'm on a planning commission with my local county. We had a list of people applying for major home occupations because they built something or this, and the satellite imagery picks it up, and it gets notified. They notify the homeowner, you have a business here, you need to file for a business license. And we just approved 9 in one city. It was pretty brutal. So go ahead, sweetie.
So also, if your framer's a good framer, he will see empty space and use it. And that you don't need to get like a reapproval.
Right.
Use that space. Yeah. Because we have some little bunk areas that, because there was going to be open space.
So it didn't change it structurally.
Nope. But we get to use that space.
Yeah.
So hopefully you have a good framer.
Mm-hmm. Good question. If land is raw, would drive, road, septic, and well costs normally be this more than foundation costs? I knew they each have their own variables. Maybe I'm looking for more a square foot cost for foundation. It depends on how raw that land is. If you got trees in it, then that's a major overX to get rid of all the root structure. I don't know how much you have to scrub it. Would drive, road, septic, and well costs? be more than the foundation. It can be. It depends on how big the land is and how big long the drive is.
And then your septic, how big?
Yeah.
And if you have water, because there's like different levels of septic. There's the normal, but then if you have a high water table, you have to use a special level 3 septic or something like that. So there's lots of variables. Yes.
Yeah. Depends on how big your land is, what the geotech report is, what your elevations are, what's growing on the land, how much you have to grub it. So go to the home site selection checklist at How to Build Your Own Home. It's at the top of the page. Download that for free before you buy land. And that's for that young couple where they're probably going to look to buy some land. Download that for free. It's going to be invaluable to you because it's going to tell you what you need to look for before purchasing land.
Very important.
So I've had many people message me and say, oh, I just found this checklist. I wish I would have known this before we bought the land. So it's going to wake you up to a lot of things to be aware of. And it's free. It's on our website. How to Build Your Own Home, just at that website. Okay. I can't say that. Stay 5873. Hope that's right. Yeah. We have started the self-managed program and connected with local zoning inspectors and town board for paperwork and what they need from us. Exciting to see if we can get the shell up this fall.
Oh,
yes.
Good.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Awesome. I started on a framing job 2 months ago when we just finished it today.
And make sure that you get, if you're in the self-managed program, make sure you get that Discord link. It could have gone into your spam or trash. And it's only good for a couple of days. And then I have to resend the link. And it comes through my email. It doesn't come through How to Build because I have to do each one separately. So look for that.
Okay.
Because we want you in there.
Okay. Colin Murray Cerise Taylor. I hope it's 6977. I'm planning to build a wooden house in the Caribbean. I wish I could be in the Caribbean.
Ooh,
can you recommend anyone who can help me design with qualities? I want to buy my materials in the USA. Yes, you go to our How to Build Your Own Home. And if you do purchase a self-managed package, it's in the download section. And check on the file that says architects, engineers, resources, etc. I've got some drafts people in there. I'd recommend Lien. I think he'd really help you out. But mention that you want to build a home in the Caribbean. But keep in mind, you're wanting to build a wood home in a highly humid environment. So that's different building science, really, really different building science. And despite what people say, you're going to want to make sure that home breathes like there's no tomorrow. You don't want to seal everything up. So using materials that breathe is going to be very invaluable to you. And study building science, because a lot of homes in the Caribbean and Mexico and South America, it's concrete and rebar. And 90% of the homes built in that area because of the high humidity
and the hurricanes.
It's concrete and rebar. So if you want to build a wood home, just make sure you build it so it breathes and it dries out. Okay, good question. Venom Bunny 94. Are fiberglass windows more fire resistant than aluminum? No. They can be subject to a little more. I'd have to do some research on that, but we can research and find out. Just go into an AI and find out for yourself. But my gut feeling is right away. I've had a fire on the home here, and I had vinyl windows. Had I had aluminum, they could have withstood a higher temperature. And I think that aluminum has a higher temperature rating factor than fiberglass. Okay. But it depends on the nature of the fiberglass and how it was manufactured and a lot of other things, how thick the gauge is on it. So you might want to research and find out about that. Fiberglass is really nothing more than rock turned into glass, made into fibers. So it could handle a high temperature, but probably not as much as aluminum windows. So do some research on it. They're both good. They're both better than vinyl. A fiberglass is better than vinyl, and so is aluminum when it comes to that factor. Okay, good question. MK Fit, looking at building a second home behind existing home, partitioning my lot into a flag lot. Any issues with setbacks from flag pole to existing home? Flag, let's see, 17 feet of flagpole width. Code is a bit confusing. Yeah, you're probably not going to partition or separate the lot. If you're trying to separate the lot, that's going to be more of a challenge with the city, and they will assess you quite a bit of money, meaning that one home gets to be grandfathered in. It's already got water, power, everything, but they're going to assess a complete different impact fee for that new lot. So we've been through that. We've added on quite a bit on a home in our original town. And it was much cheaper because it's cheaper to add an addition on than separating a flag lot. So keep that in mind. It gets to be a nightmare down the road. And don't upset the cities.
Yeah. I guess it depends on what you want to do in the long run.
Yeah.
Like if you're hoping to sell off some of your land and build so you can pay off your home, that's something different than, oh, I need my mother and father to come live with us. Let's put on an addition, right? Those are two different things, because if you have too many additions on your home, it is a little bit harder to sell, depending on your market, because it might be too big for normal people, or there could be lots of things, but
yeah. Keep in mind, a lot of cities are allowing for a single ADU. And in my jurisdiction, in the town I live in down south, they're now allowing for 2 ADUs because it's in a highly commercial, highly downtown area. But talk with your local city, because if you don't, they're eventually going to figure it out, and that you've done something or you've converted something into something else. So make sure you talk with your city and make them nice. I've been down that road many times. You don't want to make them mad. Good question. Vajrad. I can't say that. Anyway, many thanks. Long time lurker.
Glad you're here. Speaking up.
We have the land. I'll be using your site soon. Hoping the cash land purchase was a good one.
Oh,
yes,
good.
Great. I'm sure it will be. So
great. Okay. That's what we got.
I want you to keep on. If you haven't watched my video that came out this week on market.
Yeah, it's the market
update. Watch the market update, because there's a lot of good information there, and I really strongly recommend everybody listen to that. I think it was only like 8-9 minutes long, but I really give some feedback from a builder who's been at this many times. I've been through market volatility a lot, up and down, up and down. But right now, I haven't seen what's happening in the market like now. You're going to see land have a higher price point down the road. Why? Because when people can't put money in the stock market, they can't put it in securities, they can't put it in their savings account, and there's no real good place to put money, they put it into a commodity or an asset, because it's going to preserve its purchasing power and it's going to preserve its value over time. Land is one of those. So metals and some other things. So keep in mind that there's going to be a rush for land. I just feel that there's going to be a rush for land on a level we've never, ever imagined. And I don't want you to, if the dollar starts to go down the road, you're going to see land crash. But then when it crashes, people are going to buy it up extremely fast, and you want to be ready for that. That's why it's really good, if you're just starting out, to be in a cash position until that opportunity comes right away, and then you want to grab it. Okay, so be wary. This year is going to be a volatile year, very volatile, ups and downs with markets. Just watch, you'll see.
Okay, we got some new people in here.
I saw you last week. Death Colony. Oh, that's cool. I saw you last week. Great.
And then let's see. Okay. Here's one.
Okay, here's one. BB Browser Cruiser.
88 Cruiser one.
Okay. I live in Southeast Idaho. Would you use hardy board or vinyl? I'm on a budget. I wouldn't use vinyl. It's just going to look terrible over time. It's really cheap. Everyone knows it's cheap. It's going to value itself as cheap. And hardy board is going to be lasting over time. The vinyl is going to fade over time. And it's very easy to paint. And just a simple batten board or a shiplap product would be nice.
And if there's a fire, it melts really easy.
If there's a fire, that vinyl is going to melt right through that.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it's worth the price to just get a little bit of a better product and the Hardy is going to be your best product for that. Okay, good question. I've never built a home with vinyl siding, and I never will. Okay. Vad Rob.
It's Virginia DJ Rob.
Rob.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks again. Priceless info. Blessings to your family and business. Thank you very much. We do appreciate that.
Okay. And Doug's.
A thumbs up from
Doug.
Doug's. We appreciate that.
Yeah, that helps so more people can find us.
Yeah. David B. Pre-painted Hardy board. It won't need painted again for a long time. Yeah. You just have to touch up the nails that go in there, but that's another option. But you're stuck with their paint colors.
Yeah.
So think about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Anything interesting new that happened that's new to you during?
No,
build?
just I've got a lot of videos coming up. So I got something in my throat.
Here,
I know it takes some more. There we go. Just a lot of videos. I've got 3 homes racing towards getting mechanical done, that kind of thing.
Can we tell them about one of the things that happened to one of the footings this week on one of the houses?
No.
Okay. We can talk about what?
I'm going to show you. It's really, really cool. This here is
I was just doing it for subs.
Yeah.
Get away with stuff.
This is a home that I'm finishing.
It's hard to see.
It's kind of a video there. It's a mountain home, really, really beautiful home. And we're getting the dry in this week, so I'm really happy. The mud has been unbearable. 2-foot ruts of mud. I've been doing some before and after posts on that. You're going to see some video there. And so a lot of things I've been through. Building up in a high, cold, high altitude mountain community is really different than the desert. And we're talking almost 5,000 feet difference. So it's been a lot of learning experiences, learning a lot. So we have a lot of interesting posts coming out. So just stay tuned. It's a lot of interesting stuff. I found you today and have been watching most of your videos. I had a person binge watch over the weekend, like 200 videos. I go, you're kidding. We're approaching 400 videos or something like that.
Oh, I have to look.
We're getting close to 400 videos after all these years. So
I need to figure out how we can, like, if you were in live person, we could throw T-shirts out to people, but here we don't know. We need to get some merch and give it out to people.
Any video you watch, thumbs up and leave a comment. It helps the algorithm. That will really help us grow. I know there's a lot of other builder channels, but I'm probably the only one that takes you through my process, my headaches and what I learned. And that's what I'm doing. And I have a live chat. So leave comments, thumbs up. We're getting close to 50,000 subscribers. So we'd love to get that this year. Our goal is to get to that. And it really helps you with the algorithm too. Once they hit that, boom, it kind of knocks you up to a completely different arena. So
there we go.
What's your opinion? This is Peter. What's your opinion on installing shingles on a new build when the temp is 25 degrees, Chicago suburbs? Any way to mitigate any possible issues down the road? Yes, don't put them on at that cold of a temperature. First of all, Chicago, it's a windy city. You're going to have a lot of wind getting up underneath the shingles. If it's asphalt shingles, and if there's any dust that gets underneath there before a summer heat hits it, then that's going to keep the binding, the glue from really sealing on asphalt shingles. And if you've looked at bad roofs, even with architectural shingles, they flap off because they just didn't seal properly. So that's why I use ice and water shield on homes like that. It's glue. It's a peel and stick product. It's also stapled down with thumb tabs. It's not going anywhere. And it gives you the time to install that roof at the best and most opportune time with a little bit of heat under the noonday sun. So there you go. I try to get those installed. If you do aluminum shingles or standing seam, that's a different story. But if you're using asphalt shingles, which is not my favorite roof at all, you want to get that put on with a little bit of warmth under your feet. Okay, good question.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like carpet. You can't install carpet in a cold room. You have to have heat in the house, so it can properly expand when they stretch it. So when it cools down, it tightens up. So it's the same thing. A lot of flooring, a lot of materials are just subject to heat, and you want to make sure you use the right heat. So let's go here. One more.
Colin Maurice Taylor.
Your last statement made me think. You said you never built a house with vinyl siding. Nope, I never have. I live in Queens, New York City, where most of the houses are vinyl siding. I just changed from aluminum to vinyl.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
Is it cost, or why did you do that?
Well, the aluminum can dent very easy. The vinyl, when you hit it, it can bounce back. And so vinyl siding is a little better than aluminum, which is better. The only caveat is that the aluminum is a refractive quality. It can put heat back out into the atmosphere, and then it has the ability to retain heat on the inside, especially if it's a roof. But vinyl siding that's aluminum, any kind of dent, it's going to show, and it's going to stick, and it's going to stay. But with vinyl, you hit it like that, it's going to bounce back. So that's the only real difference. So good comment there. How does a one-man trim crew get more new house projects and new builders? Builders seem to want a 3 to 4 man crew. Really good question.
Good question.
It depends on the size of the home. So if you're talking with builders that are building 3,000 square feet and above, yeah, that's why they want a larger crew. But if they're building 3,000 feet and below, then you can get the job done in a timely fashion. It's really the size of the home that matters. For example, I've given work to some subcontractors because I know they've got a crew. I don't care if it's a mechanical, electrical, or framing. I give work to the size of the crew that can handle that job. I'm doing jobs that are close to 7,000 square feet and some that are around 2,200 square feet. And each one of those requires a different labor size crew. All right. You just can't give everything to the one person you like. You have to give it so it can be done in a timely fashion. Remember, quality time cost. Time is that intermediary, that middle ground between the actual cost and the quality of the work. And time is that factor. And so as an independent contractor and you're a one-man band, you could hold people up, but you may get things done faster if you're bidding appropriately for the size of the home that you really want to be working in. So I did a job with a one-man band, and he was the concrete guy. Absolute nightmare. He didn't used to be that way. He used to have 3-4 people that work for him all the time, but he now, just because he's retiring, he's trying to save as much money. I paid the price for it. It took me an extra several weeks to get the work done, and so I don't use him anymore. It's sad, but that's just the way it is. You want to make sure that, for example, on a trim crew, that's something that I've seen some guys move at really quick. Mm-hmm. And I've never seen 3 and 4 man crews. I've seen maybe 2-man crews, and they move really efficiently. But a trim crew that's that large, then they're basically bulk only. They're going after big developers to, shake and bake as much as they can. You want to push your arena towards quality, higher quality, and you'll get work.
Yeah, and on the marketing aspect, what if you just started marketing 2,500 square feet or less, and I can get it done with high quality, and like you use that for your advantage, because
right.
And then you just focus in your marketing that this is what you are. So then the big builders are like, it's not on their mind. But then the smaller builders, they say, oh yeah, let's get him. Does that make sense in the marketing? Mm-hmm. Just tell them what you can do, and then do it for better quality and time and money.
Yeah, you'll find your niche. Don't worry about it. Just keep at it and build relationships and build quality and make those things stick. Okay, all right, and you'll be just fine. Best morphs. I just had my driveway done this past summer, and it's crumbling and pitting in the middle, mostly along cut lines. I'll tell you why. Concrete is a lot of the time subject to the mixing plant it's coming from, and some mixing plants put in a lot of aggregate. And and they put in too much large aggregate, and then it's too close to the surface, and then concrete's porous, so water is going to get into that aggregate, and it's going to spread, and in a freeze, it's going to buckle, and you're going to start to see some spalling, but it's now starting to crumble after the summer because now it's experiencing some of that spalling. And the other thing is when it was curing, it could have cured too fast or it wasn't curing properly. There's a tamping mechanism they can use that before they start to smooth it out, they tamp down the boulders, the rocks, the pebbles. They get them down there deep, at least 1.5 inches to 2 inches deep. So you've got that nice butter on the top, and that's going to keep a lot of spalling from happening. But a lot of builders don't, a lot of contractors don't do that. I like to see it done, but I get a really good batch from the batch plant. And if you really want a good concrete, go for a smaller aggregate. And you can maybe ask for pea gravel in your concrete. So you want a really smooth surface and you want it even killed and you don't want any possible spalling over time. That's something to think about as well. But concrete's one of those beasts, and you have to really ask around and see how good is the concrete at that batch plant, because that's what you're subject to. And then, of course, the craftsmanship that's actually putting it down. And a sealer, a good sealer would have stopped a lot of that. When I do a lot of mountain homes and I'm got a driveway, we seal it with a Thompson sealer, and it's good for 3 to 4 years, and it helps stop a lot of that freezing and buckling and spalling. So
the second part of his question.
Contractor said he'll come back after winter. Michigan, good. If he's willing to take responsibility for it, awesome. Okay. If it's aluminum roofing, can you do it in the cold? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. End of story. Yes, you can. Okay. How do you solve for internet in the rural mountain homes? Skylink. We're doing this on Skylink. Is it called Skylink?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's Tesla's or
Elon
Musk's company.
They even have a little mobile one that you can do, so you can take that and go.
Yeah.
If you're out and about.
You just need power and put it on a pole, and then when you're ready to move it to the home, you can pretty easy. Before you close up the home, make sure you run that cable up to the roof, and it's not mounted to the roof; it's just sits on the roof with weights, so you don't have to drill. You just drill a single hole through the roof for that cable, and it's going to come up underneath the mechanism, the plate, and then you can caulk it and you're all good. Mm-hmm. So bring that in before you start to close things up. I just did that yesterday on a home. Say, Colin, what siding do you recommend? I like any kind of cement board, rock, brick, any kind of permanent natural product like that. That's my favorite. I'm not a fan of stucco. I've done too many homes with stucco over the years, and stucco just has a way of looking bad over time. It doesn't look good. But a rock or a brick or even a hardy siding like that, it looks better just as well as it did when it was first put on 10 years later. Stucco doesn't look that way. Stucco can shrink over time, and you can see it, and it starts to fade. And I've pulled away from stucco as much as I can. So, good question. My first build, and I knew nothing about blower door tests until my first inspection. Now I have to use spray foam on all lights, switches, vents, etc. Yes, because your installation company should have closed those up with spray foam. So you don't want to have the blower door test. You did it after the fact, and a blower door test is probably, did you do it after drywall, after installation, or at the final CO level? Usually you do
final inspection.
Yeah, final inspection.
Now I have to spray foam.
Yeah, you do a blower door test to make sure you pass. But if you know you build to the pass level you need, then you just get the blower door test at that level after drywall and paint and everything, just to verify that you got it done right. Or you get a blower door test before they actually. But that's really hard because you got roof and everything.
So when would you have a blower door test?
After drywall, after paint, near the end, because that way everything's sealed up, and you have to just make sure your outlets and plugs and lights are all sealed up. So good question. I could talk forever on that subject, but I'll just leave it at that. Okay.
Oh, this is about internet. Also, are there
Okay.
cell towers?
Yeah, cell towers, if there are some around, but in my neck of the woods, there are not. So, separate question. How come concrete in Rome lasts for thousands of years, but only a few decades before spalding in Western USA and are better materials possible here? Because it doesn't freeze in Rome. It's the Mediterranean. And you've got that salt water that keeps and maintains a constant temperature in the air. And because there's no freezing it, they don't get that buckling. Water doesn't get in. And because it doesn't get in for freezing, it doesn't buckle and spald. That's why people have asked that question a lot, but they don't understand it's a completely different environment.
Starlink, not Skylink. You're right.
Starlink.
You're right. Starlink.
Yeah.
I had the S right and the link.
Yeah.
Brady's here today.
Hello, Brady. Also, highly recommend rain screen behind the siding for either Hardy or LP. Or what I do is 1.5 inches of mineral wool. So, and that's your rain screen.
Oh,
Good
I don't
comment.
know this one. This one.
Cool. I am curious about Amazon's Kuiper project as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
We'll have to look into that Kuiper project. Okay.
Oh, let's see. They're all having.
Yeah.
Oh, here's something. Brady's bringing some insight.
Roman concrete was made different than modern concrete. It was.
And that they used
volcanic ash.
Wow, I didn't know that. Thanks, Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Extra mineral wool is the GOAT, greatest of all time. It is. I'll be doing some videos on that. I'm excited to do it. So.
I didn't know you even clicked that.
Okay.
That's funny.
Well, we're gonna end there. Again, give us some comments. Any video you see, just make a comment. This is a bomb, and something like that, And if it's critical, make a comment. And we'll be here next Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you have your questions, and if you can't be at live chat, go to How to Build Your Own Home, contact the instructor, and I will get questions like these, and I'll answer them first. That means you don't have to sit and wade through the entire live chat, and then that way I can get them answered for you. We have fun. We enjoy answering the questions. I want to see more owner builders, because the more owner builders we see out there, the more experience we're getting under our belt. And we never used to have general contractors a long time ago. We all learned to build our own homes. So maybe we should get back to that. So, but if you want your home built and you're in my neck of the woods, I'll do that for you too. So just check out our site at kelschconstruction.com as well. But thanks everybody. We'll see you guys next Thursday.
See ya.